Hey guys, welcome back to Tower of God New World. In today's video, I'm re-recording this intro because I got my thoughts sort of condensed across the process of making this video. You'll see some cool highlights of Zahard being an absolute boss hypercarry unit. So I wanted to go through and basically TLDR what I've found at the start of this video so you guys know, but honestly, the dude can be a crazy hypercarry unit. I have said it many times that I thought he was bugged. I think the main reason is that he just needs the investment. Otherwise, he spends a lot of time in his transition phases and doesn't really get to do much damage. The other key thing that I finally discovered, thanks to Monkey for letting me know this, is I was trying to use Zahard with like my secondary team. My primary team core was always Hats, Evan, and Bomb. What I had to do is I had to remove Bomb from that team and put him with Zahard. The problem is Zahard does most of his damage towards the end of the battle when pretty much everyone's dead, and you need that buff that lasts the whole battle so he can have the effective buff when he does his damage, and that is the big thing. And honestly, I'm absolutely amazed at this guy. We're looking at him in the second team, which is around a 2.5 to 3x deficit, while the main team's probably around a 3, maybe a bit more x deficit. So keep that in mind. We're in chapter 18. But definitely Bomb is the key, and then high investment on Zahard. Now, there's no way I'd be doing this if mine was not 3 green star. You do need the investment like any of the Evan Kell and stuff like that. You need the dupes of them, but with this guy you also need that 30 exclusive equipment, because you'll see when we go through this, he's always winning the battle on his cheat death that procs the additional ult. So Zahard uses his special move before dying when taking a fatal damage, and this is where he clutches most of the wins. So that's the investment needed. But once again, I'm just so stoked that I got this guy working, and he's working as a hyper carry for me, and now I'm just using my 2 other carry units being Hats and Hua in the first side. But we'll get into the video. Like I said, I just wanted to condense that at the start for anyone trying to make him work. Bomb is like the absolute key, and you also got to make sure that Bomb gets his ability off, because he is slow, so if he dies instantly, he won't be getting that buff. So let's continue with the video. The rest of the team, I put in the Dark Core to get a 3-piece bonus. We got Narei, who's just great for energy recovery. I love Narei. She's so good, and getting him to get those ults faster is going to be fantastic. We put Karaka in there literally as a fear bait. He's just there to run in, die, and fear, and that's just to stall a little bit of time, and that's it. And then Rachel, I tried this with Kuhn as well, but Kuhn's banish actually screwed me more than it helped me, so we just chucked Rachel in to be a final unit. This is literally all about Bomb buffing the Zahard, and then Narei getting a bit of energy to him as well. That is the main core behind this one. But I wanted to show you guys, let's go ahead and put it on 1x speed as well. I was super impressed, and I'm super excited by this. The fact that I'm getting some damage out of him. But once again, his multipliers don't make sense on where his damage is coming from when we look at it. But I just wanted to show you guys, because this was absolutely huge. So you can see we've done like no damage so far. We've done like 0 damage. So he's about to use his first ult. So that's going to be the beam one. So he's gone through one phase. And you can see there we get that little proc where he does the AoE thing. And that's where he's done his first bit of damage. We get the Narei ult here, which is huge because it brings his energy right up. As you can see, he's just consistently doing a bit of damage. Now this ult does hit everyone, and you can see then it crits, and it does get a bit of damage this time. And then we get the enemies low. Because I have his 30 exclusive equipment, he gets to proc a second one, and then it does damage again. My problem is sometimes that ult, it just feels like it hits for like nothing. So my problem, I think maybe what it is after I've watched it a bit more, is that when he ults, if it crits, it does phenomenal damage, and if it doesn't, it does like 0. It feels like the crit scaling is abnormal on it or something like that. I don't know. Unfortunately, I still don't know the exact logic behind how to make Zahard OP, but in a situation like this, he can be completely OP. Now, this deficit, I think, is about a 2.5x deficit. The main enemy on this stage was a little bit over a 3x deficit. And then obviously this is the second team. So, you know, it's not against the hardest team out there. But I feel like if we were fighting an all blue team, he might be able to push well beyond that 3x deficit if he performs like he did in this battle. Obviously, I've been just playing with the camera on. I'm obsessed with the camera on now. But yeah, you can see that one. When it gets the crits, it's good. And then because we had the defense break, and you'll see little chipmunk dude. Like, he's still taking that burn damage. So from the previous one, because we got the other ult off a bit earlier, it allows this to tick that bleed, that burn, and that burn does deal a pretty decent amount of damage. But as you can see, this was the other side that I ended up having to slap my Hua into to aid in the damage along with the hats. So I sort of went all in on this team, and then I just had to use leftovers for that other team, and I was really impressed that we managed to get it to work. So Zahard is one of those units. I love the dude now. Like, I've been in a love-hate relationship with this guy forever, but now that I'm getting him to actually do some numbers, he's not as consistent as other units from my testing, but I'm loving what I'm seeing him capable of doing. So what I might do is I might push up to the next boss stage, and then we'll take a look at that. I'll just swap gear around. The gear swapping is just a pain in the ass. So I'll get to the next boss stage, and we'll see if we can get him to work in something. And this was just that non-boss stage, and this is where Hats has the good gear, and Hats is in the... Actually, I think Bomb died before he even managed to buff Hats, but he's doing about a third of the Hats damage. We have Hats at 5.1 million and him at 1.8 million. Now, the Hua, once again, I don't know if Hua's net damage numbers are bugged or whatever, but I think that's pretty reasonable from him. Now, the red bar looks really small, but 1.8 versus the 5.1, when you consider that Hats has the better gear on, I think it's not too bad. So I think the big thing is, and someone said this to me in one of the comments on one of my early videos about Zahard when I was saying he feels bugged, is that when he's not invested, he basically just spends all his time changing forms and then changing forms again. And once you invest in him more, he's able to survive and not just be like a meat shield essentially, and then he's able to actually do some damage. There is still that visual bug on his ult, but his ult is hitting the enemies even though it doesn't show him to be hitting them. So let's just go back. Now that I've got the gear set, we can just walk through these couple stages, see what we can do in a lower level slot. Once again, that was him lower level than Hats as well. So I mean, it was quite reasonable. I'm pretty happy with that. It's just one of those units that's just taken me so long to get to work in the damage sense. He's always worked in a tanking sense. He's an amazing stall tank, 100%. Let's see what he can do here. He's taking a bit more heat, so he might not be able to do too much in this one. If he can get 2 ults off, we might be pretty good. Yeah, he's gonna get 2 ults off because we had the Evan. So he's gonna ult here, and then he's gonna come out. Oh no, it's too late. We killed everyone anyway. The power of the Hua in the team just melt through everything. All right, let's check it out. Let's check it out. Damage. 1.3 still. Honestly, not too bad. Not too bad. 1.3. We'll take it. We'll take it. Once again, he's 20 levels lower. So let's see this one. We should be right to just see if this works. I think it should. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Didn't want to swap things around. Let's see. The beauty of the loading screens in the game. The beauty of the loading screens. All right. Okay, so he's not getting hit too hard. So Hua is down. Hats is still doing his thing. We're about to get an ult here and defense break them, which is handy for Hats to deal damage. You see when he gets the crits, it just does more. Okay, yep, he's going to proc. Hopefully Evan gets his ult off as well. Would help the team. Okay, now he's down, but we should be fine anyway. We should win this 1v1, hopefully. Yeah, okay. I mean, he wasn't like carrying the damage. Obviously, he's lower level, but once again, I feel like he did damage in that one. No, he didn't. 729, copium. Good job, Hats. All right, let's proceed to the next. Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to... Ooh, that's red. Yeah, the problem is there's red on that one as well. So you can see we're about a 2.5x on this. And this one is around that 3x. And I think I'm going to leave this team in. But what we'll do is we'll strip some gear here. And we'll move it across. And we'll just put dummy units in this team. And we'll see if we can get this to work. So we're just going to drop them out. I'm going to jump into here and we'll see if we can get him to work. Now, I do have his weapon for the damage. I upgraded it to level 5 just to get that accuracy because I feel like accuracy is a massive thing that he needs. We're going to go ahead and equip some gear on you and we'll equip some gear on you. Are we... Okay, we've got the advantage because there's only 2 yellow units. That's cool. Do you have gear on? All right, let's give this a whirl. Let's just see. I think from here, I think Running Man is actually going to attack Naray, which is going to bone me, unless he ends up getting in on the Karaka. Also curious to see if he's the first one to hit Grey and it's with his ultimate, does he get feared? That's something I'm very curious to see. Because if it's with his Raining Meteor ultimate, does that count as attacking him? We'll see. We'll see. All right, let's see how this goes. Yeah, unfortunately, the Running Man gets on Naray, which really sucks for us. Does he get feared here? No, he doesn't. That's good. Okay, Karaka taunting for a little bit. That's him get a bit up. Hopefully, he can get an ult off before he dies. That was his death ult. I feel like if we had have got his energy up, so he got an ult before the EE, so his exclusive equipment gives him a free ult when he, like a cheat death ult, but he's pretty much dead after, you know, that's going to be the case. But let's go ahead and do this so Naray can hopefully survive and give him a buff. Now, I didn't see if Bomb was giving his buff or dying too fast, so we'll keep an eye out on that as well. I think we might actually get this one. If we can just get that bit of extra energy regeneration so he double ults at the end, and maybe get a couple seconds of that burn tick in while he does his animation would be super handy. Okay, there's Karaka down. Ray's still alive. Bomb's done doing his buff now. Okay, we're buffed. We're buffed, which is good. Okay, we're doing the needle one. Unfortunately, I don't like the needle one as much. So we do have one more invincibility phase to proc through though. So we are looking not too horrible. Okay, he's about to proc it. He's procced it. Can we please get the ult? Yes. Okay, this is an ult before the cheat death ult. But as you can see, that one just looked like it did 0 damage. Whereas that one, you could see the crits and it looked like it did more damage. So that's where I get confused on him. Is like, it feels like sometimes his ult just does absolutely 0, and then other times it just feels like it does massive amounts. Now, to be fair, because the second one, we do have the defense break on after the first one, so it is going to deal that extra damage. But I definitely think the key to Zahard is teaming him up with a bomb. Now, you can say that about any hyper carry, but I can definitely get something like Hats to work without bomb if I put him in with a Hua, because they can both team up on that enemy, get the energy regeneration happening and stuff like that. Whereas Zahard, he wants that value later in the game, so he wants that extra attack to be coming in later on. So here we go. He's gonna get double ult again. It depends if we can hit Running Man. You can see we did 0 damage to the Running Man, which is an issue for us. And here's the second ult, and we're just sometimes we're not getting that damage. So I might do a few retries, see if we can get that damage to actually scale up a bit, and we'll be back. Okay, there we go. Honestly, I am jacked up about this guy now. I am so happy that I've got him working, doing the deeps that I've always dreamed he can do. I definitely think it's a case of investment required. Now, keep in mind, if I didn't have him 3-star green, I don't think I'd be able to do this right now. That extra attack he gains from the 3-star green is going to be huge for him. Obviously, future limit breaks are really big too to help a character out, but I think that 3 green is like a really big thing where lower deficits, maybe you can do something like this, but without him at 3, but the 3 green is definitely a thing. So just keep that in mind. You're not just going to have a single copy and be using him as a carry. I don't think that's viable. But this, at a 2.5x deficit with like a scratch together team, besides him and Bomb, like the others not being too invested, I'm pretty happy with it. And that allows me to use Hua and Hats over in my other team to easy clap it. And I'm pretty happy with that working. So definitely secret being, you got to use the Bomb. I just think the Bomb, something like a Hats just gets more value out of other characters, other supports than what Zahard does. Zahard, the low duration supports with, you know, buffs that don't last too long just don't work as well. Even the Hua doesn't work as well with him as a supportive unit. I think he needs that entire battle. Give me that attack, give me that defense, because both of those are really helping me serve my function and do more damage. So I think it's fantastic. Him and Bomb, sort of match made in heaven, and then you just got to piece together on the light team, which isn't too hard. You got Grey, you've got the SR unit to make a 3-piece yellow between Hats, Evan, and one of those two, and then you can scatter it among. As long as I'm getting a 3-piece bonus, I'm pretty happy in my team. So let's check this one out, and you'll see his energy regeneration going through the roof when we start getting these ults in this fight. This fight was ridiculous. So, dude, I'm jacked. This guy's working so well. Sick. All right, let's go. So as you can see, like this is the problem with buffs that happen at the start of battle. You can see he does none of his damage at the start of battle. He needs to build up those stacks, then he does the big knockback. That's where he does some of his damage. But as he gets lower, then he starts ramping up that damage. He does an ult there. You can see pretty much almost one-shot that Grey. Then gets another ult off, and he still hasn't done his EE30, which is going to be another ult which finishes the battle. So once again, you're not going to just have a copy of him and do this. This requires investment. The 3-star, I think, is required at this deficit, at about a 2.5 to 3x deficit in Chapter 18. And also, and that's on the second enemy. So your first enemy is probably at like a 3 to 4x deficit at this range. And then also you're going to have the 30 exclusive equipment. Like there's no way he's doing these clears without that. That final ult is what's clutched him the win in every one of these battles. He hasn't had a win without using that extra ultimate. So those are the requirements, but I am really excited for this guy. I'm going to keep trying to get dupes of him. Honestly, I don't care about anyone else now. I just want to get dupes as Zahard because I'm just loving the dude. And if he can work as just like a pure hypercarry unit that doesn't need another tank with him, anything like that, and I can just use filler units, I am pretty happy. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.